It's been a celebratory week here in South Korea, with Children's Day marked by a national holiday yesterday, but security officials have been tied up analysing North Korea's latest missile test, which took place on Wednesday, although the North has since been unusually silent about it.
So, before looking closer at North Korea's motivations, do we actually know what the North fired this week? Given Pyongyang's silence, we have to look for an answer here in South Korea.
What we've been told by the South Korean military is that this was a ballistic missile test, possibly even an even more serious intercontinental ballistic missile test, though any kind of ballistic missile test by North Korea would be banned under UN Security Council resolutions. The missile in question flew 470 kilometers at a maximum altitude of 780 kilometers before falling into the East Sea, according to the military here. Some analysts suggest it could have been an ICBM flown well within its range. Others suggest North Korea wouldn't waste resources on that. Another possibility is that this was a failed test, and that would better explain why Pyongyang's kept quiet.
But why now? Why a 14th missile test by North Korea this year, when there's perhaps an opportunity for dialogue with an incoming South Korean president?
Analysts have focused on exactly that as a factor. North Korea appears to use missile tests as a means to stay relevant and gain more leverage at the negotiating table. And there's nothing quite like conducting a ballistic missile test less than a week before a new president, Yoon-Suk-yeol, takes office in South Korea to stay in the mind of the incoming administration. On top of that, we're now just over 2 weeks away from a Seoul summit between Yoon and US counterpart Joe Biden. And this week's test coincided with the visit of China's nuclear envoy, which may have concerned Pyongyang, though he did suggest it was up to North Korea and the US to sort out their nuclear standoff. We should also consider that the North is actually seeking to develop more powerful weapons. Just last weekend, leader Kim-Jong-un spoke of the need to bolster his country's military power to preemptively and thoroughly contain nuclear threats from hostile forces.
So how is the incoming Yoon administration responding, as well as the Biden government in the US?
Yoon's transition team strongly condemned the North's test almost immediately, insisting that the Yoon-Suk-yeol government will deal strongly with North Korea's provocations. While we don't have a clear roadmap, Yoon's team has stressed the importance of complete and verifiable denuclearization and stronger cooperation with the US. On the American side, the State Department issued its own condemnation, while the US is also pushing for another UN Security Council resolution to send a strong signal to North Korea. And while the American military position is that it can still defend against North Korean missiles, the Pentagon expressed concern this week that the threat posed by the North continues to increase with each test. Reports also continue to mount, suggesting a looming North Korean nuclear test, which would be its first since 2017. The current pattern indicates that is very possible.